Alright guys, let's do this. Welcome to my 60th live stream about Gamestop, how great it is and all that stuff, right? Pumping. No, I'm kidding. So I'm all about long-term investing, right? And all you kind of like fly by night and all that stuff, those are like younger investor type of thing. And that's why I feel like being in this play, it's kind of exhausting in my opinion, right? Investing in anything, when people, I bet you anything, this is a Bitcoin chart, man. I bring Bitcoin to you or in your psyche or whatever. Sorry, this is how I start my show, you guys. Please forgive me. I don't have like a set way of doing things, so I like to create variety of stuff for you to, and this is how my brain works too, like I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but hopefully you get bits and pieces here and there that helped you in the process of deciding to invest in a certain things. And what the knowledge I have is usually just investing in Bitcoin. Like I said to you before, I discovered Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was really the cornerstone of my experience in investing in the stock market, right? Because that's where I got my started. That's where I start in learning everything I can, long term versus short term, all of that stuff, right? So most of my experience of training to do trading is from investing in crypto. Now I get it, this type of experience is not for everyone, because crypto can fluctuate very quickly, and if you don't have the patience or the conviction that you have, you would not be able to stay in this environment. And I'm a very kind of high risk, high reward type of person, and I think I've learned to mitigate that in my experience, right? So, and that's why I always preface it by, make sure you know yourself, well enough anytime you invest in anything, right? Are you the type that okay with, your portfolio down 80% and in one day, right? Type of thing. Are you aware that if you're 80%, you might not get your money back, right? Are you aware that the network that you put your money in, and usually crypto is a very risky, asset, and you will never ever get your money back, in some cases. And whether what you're putting in is going to give you that return in 10, 15 or whatever years, right? And so that's why it's important to kind of like get all the facts in first before you invest in this type of instruments, right? So Bitcoin, again, like by the time I got into this, I was well educated. I feel like I was well versed in it's like I get all the information that I I tend to get all of the information before my face first, before I even make the decision to trade Bitcoin or anything like that, right? Again, like this is the time when Robinhood kind of added to Bitcoin into their portfolio, right? And this is where I got excited. This is where I forgot about it and all that stuff, right? But within this time frame, this is when I learned how to trade stock and all that stuff. And this is the time frame that I make the mistake to sell my Bitcoin way too early, because I didn't believe in the network and didn't research anything about the network whatsoever. So again, that's the initial stage, right? And we all go through that, whether which stage you get into. Whether you're just beginning investor, you need to know all this information. That's what I'm hoping to give you, my experience in the stock market in general. And this is why I make this channel. And of course, because Moran's, encouraged me, well, by proxy, not not directly, because I was watching his video. He's always staying on course and all that stuff. And I resonate with people like that, honestly, because I resonate with people who are, straightforward, giving you all the facts that you need and all that stuff. And that's how I am operated. That's what I want people to give me, meaning that I would much rather know the truth than be lied to and be comfortable, right? No. That would not be, my schmeal, or that wouldn't. I would not do well with that type of environment, right? And so I seek out people who are honest with me, for whatever reason, and because that's how I want my information to present to me. So whatever the truth is, if it's even hurt me or whatever, I tend to say, give me the truth. Right? You're not going to hurt me. The only way that you hurt me is to lie to me in some way, or lie about me or whatever, right? Stuff like that, it's very, it's like a near and dear to my heart. And again, this is why I resonate with Ryan Cohen as well, because it seems like he's a straightforward type of person, and hardworking, and know what he's doing, and all of that characteristic. It's preparing me for GameStop, right? Investing in GameStop, right? Now, what I'm hoping is to impart this knowledge that I have, in investing in Bitcoin and investing in, GME, or going through the run of AMC. All of that experience really, taught me and prepared me to be better investor, right? So again, I get to this point, even though this point is a very low point. No, I'm kidding. Nah, I consider, my subscriber, it's a pretty good amount. I've never imagined people would just subscribe to me, listen to me, and all that stuff. So I really do appreciate all of you, spending some time, even just 1 minute. It's, immensely appreciative already. It really keeps me wanting to do more of this type of video. And, to encourage people more to be aware, to be at least, get all of the facts first before you make those decisions. Because it really, set you up for failure, set you up for success. And even if it's failed you in some way, at least you know that it's from you. You decide to do this. And don't get depressed, but because you give yourself, at least, okay, if I could make this decision, I'm going to make a better decision next time, right? It's not meant to doom and gloom here. It's just to give you a perspective of okay, if you make a terrible decision and this happened, then what would happen if you make better decision? And if you make the decision, what did you do before that? Did you gather all the facts first, or you just believe in somebody telling you AMC is going to go to the moon, right? GME is going to run this time, right? All of that decision is from you, right? At the end of the day, you're the one who, click buy and click sell. Nobody's forcing you to buy or sell. They could only influence you to buy and sell. And so my point is that people be sure to get the information from the source, right? Rather than believing in the analysts out there, like Brian Susie or whatever. And for me as well, don't just believe what I say to you, right? Go verify the facts first before make that decision. That's it. And if you could do that, most of your decision, I think you're going to make better decision, and those better decision hopefully add up to a better life for yourself type thing, right? So again, and if you make decision, large decision, major decision in life, you better know the quality of the information that comes in front of you before, deciding to do that. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let me see who's in here. I'm not quite sure how long I'm going to be here, so I'm just going to talk until I can't talk anymore. And hey guys, I'm sorry, I just opened up my chat here. Hi Xbit, appreciate you. Northstar, appreciate you. Yo. Vinny, thank you. Happy afternoon. I appreciate you. Sorry, I don't know how much of that you got just now, but I appreciate all of you coming in here. Not sure what topic I'm gonna go into. I know, like in my title there, it's just saying the price point of GME. How's everybody doing? How's everybody? New Year so far? So far so good. Hi Northstar. Hi Vinny. I don't know where Vinny is, so appreciate you. How do you feel about GameStop now, Northstar? I know you were bear for a little bit. Are you saying it's a good price point? Where's the price point that you're willing to buy GameStop at? Or what's your projection from here on out? Especially after that third quarter reporting. Oh no! What happened to my microphone? I thought I got cut off. Okay, so let me open up the usual GameStop financials here. You know, I usually steer people to the information at large. Like, I like looking at the data like this. I'm a number person, so you know, I resonate more with numbers than words. Not a very good reader, and so, you know, I understand number pretty well, you know, based on my limited amount of education that I have from just Googling things, right? And I'm not an expert on anything. Please, you know, don't take any advice like that. But all I'm trying to steer people to do is at least try to get the best information, the best data that you get, and then make the best decision from that data, right? And always question, okay, where is this data coming from? You know, stuff like that. All right, I hope your day is going well. Thank you so much. Northstar, Vinny. Okay, people are chatting. Woo! You go, girl. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know who you are. Edward, you seems new to me. Appreciate that. As of today, officially owned. Okay. Well, appreciate that amount of share. You sharing the share amount. I used to talking about Jimmy, Vinny. Okay, I like the direction Ryan Cohen is taking the company. Okay, Northstar, appreciate that. Are you building a position now, long, short? What's going on? Can GameStop company be listed because lack of liquidity in NASDAQ? On IC or whatever. So I'm not very knowledgeable about stuff like that, honestly. You know, it could happen. Anything could happen at this point in time, I feel like. You know, whatever the regulator is saying about this stock, it really goes, right? So again, I'm not educated enough to give that to give answer to that question. Perhaps somebody in the chat knows more than me in that way. So I'm gonna outsource the the knowledge of that. I'm gonna let somebody else answer that question. Who? Guy, right? Expert Northstar was part of the original DFV crew. Oh, okay, that's good. Good to know. I appreciate that. I did look back to, you know, DFV, you know, live stream, and he had a whole bunch of, let me see if I could show it here. Because he had such a good analysis. It was like one of those 5 reasons why you should invest in GameStop I think it's this one right here. And this is the type of like the level of data that he was able to kind of come out with before anybody knew about it, right? And I think I mark it right here. This is the date of that live stream right there, and it was like the bottom, right? So if North Star was around here, of course he's probably very well off at this point. Like, I don't know if I have the conviction. I wish I had that, seen that video. Of course I would have had to kind of do a lot of analysis myself as well. Honestly, if I was in the early investor, would I have the conviction to even buy more at this point, right? And at the time, I was kind of like into stocks, but for some reason, GameStop was not in my purview. It was not meant to be for me at that time. But that's why I'm looking back. Okay, what did he see that other people didn't see about GameStop? And that's going to teach me how to spot companies like this in the future. And that's what I'm hoping. That's why I'm learning as much as I can from his live stream, the way that he was conducting his research and all that stuff. So I'm all about that myself. So, okay, let me play. Well, I'm not going to play but just motion here. I'm going to read the chat real quick. Okay, original crew. That's why it's performed. Okay. Oh, okay. So in your theory, Guy, is that Guy Rosen? I'm sorry if I butchered your name. You're saying that the reason why they did the 4-to-1 split was to create liquidity into the stock, because it would have been I don't know. I think the decision was to eventually have Wall Street jumping in at a massive amount of share, because at the time it was 67, right? 67 million shares if you were to divide this by 4. So currently they have around this much share outstanding. Again, this is not a set in stone number. It fluctuates based on the, inside ownership. So currently, it was 76 million shares. So if they want to be, as big as they want it to be in the future, that amount of shares is too small of a float to go by. But I don't know, like Berkshire Hathaway never split, right? So it might be right. I mean, you might be right. I don't know. Again, I'm not knowledgeable enough to talk about that, to speak about that. Gaming, we are all from the Moran's crew Discord. Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, so North Star is long. It's officially long. What? Congratulations. I'm actually proud that you said that. So appreciate that. Yes, 2,000 shares so far. Man, you're close to double what I have currently in my Roth IRA. But I'm planning to add more, obviously. So that's good. That's good. So, all right. So we have good comments over here. I appreciate all of you being here, honestly. Like, spending some time. Okay, so stocks can have zero liquidity and still not get delisted. Right, I think so too. Like, I've seen stocks that were trading in 1 million or like 2,000 shares per day or something like that. And, if that's the case, those penny stocks wouldn't be on the stock market at all. I think the lower the liquidity, it's just going to get that volatility, right? And option traders probably love this type of thing because, volatility is what makes their bread and butter. And so, I don't know. And this is why I think people were like on SoFi. People were encouraging other people to buy Leap option at this point, right? But for some reason, they don't want you to touch GME, even though, that we're on the same road of profitability for the next quarter, right? And I think, with the story behind what GameStop is, I feel like GameStop is probably the best choice for that type of decision. But again, hey, don't take any trade decision based on what I do, what I say. I'm an amateur here. Not at all. I'm just trying to learn as much as I can for myself and sharing my journey with all of you. Yes. Thanks. North Star, very optimistic. Not worry about any short-term stock price. Okay. Good. Good for you. Thank you, North Star. Swish. Welcome back. Wait, sorry. We are back. Thank you. You better not. Oh, stop fighting. No fighting in this chat, please. Thank you. No, I'm kidding. I'm encouraging discourse, respectable comments, please. Hey, Lionel, what's up? I know you're still at work, right? Thank you. North Star, hi, Swish. Yes. Alright, so we have a lot of people in here. I appreciate all of you. This is the most I've ever gotten. 8 people. Appreciate that. So, today's live stream, honestly, I just think that, to me, I'm here to kind of like impart some of my limited wisdom on this earth for people. And at the very least, I'm trying to influence people to think of it as a long-term investing, And I've talked extensively about my, currently anyway, my initiation to the stock market was Bitcoin, right? And I tend to go back to the way I was invested and the way I came across the info back then. Sold early, didn't understand what the network was, didn't have the conviction that most people have until this day about the network of Bitcoin. Nobody really expect Bitcoin to be as big as it is today. Now, you've seen all of the news, right? Like Fidelity, all of the big guys are, setting up for this and stampeding to get a hand on Bitcoin, right? And of course, I think it's probably due to this one right here. I'm sure they probably been accumulating since then, 2018, or so. That's why you hear a lot more about Bitcoin going under, and I'm sure at this point here too, people were kind of fear-mongering about how Bitcoin is dead. Every time people say Bitcoin is dead, Bitcoin is never dead. Like, it just fluctuates in price. Of course, they're trying to influence people to sell at a loss and take the loss. The same way, like people, if you kind of piece the information back then about Bitcoin and kind of juxtapose it to what they're saying about GameStop too, right? The media is there to mislead you, in my opinion, right? I have my opinion about them, and I've done many episodes about how Yahoo Finance and all that stuff, and I've seen how they cover AMC versus GME, right? And I kind of know, like, or feeling that the media is there to mislead people, and the fact that they use GME movement, at the time to say ape strong together, therefore let's add other stocks that doesn't really make sense, like AMC, right? Heavily indebted, high short interest at the time, right? But there's a reason why there's high short interest. And then, the difference between AMC and GME, and we all know this, whoever was the original people from that point, I'm sure North Star probably could attest to this. At the time, I remember this too. It's like, I remember, when the news kind of broke about GameStop was like 400 already, I think, around this time right here. And you've heard CNBC trying to convince people like, oh, Mervyn Finance or whatever, Mervyn Capital or whatever, that guy's Gabe Plotkin, were closing their position and, like really trying to convince people, okay, enough for this, right? And did they really close their short position? I don't think so, right? But they spend money to try to convince retail investor that, oh, the game is over, therefore you see all of this, this is the run, this is all it is. Until this day, they still try to say that GameStop is whatever, right? Negative kind of sentiment in order to kind of depress people into selling. It's like, oh, it's over. Like, why are you still holding on to this? Without thinking about like the fundamental of the companies doing much better than when Rowan Kitty was talking about it here, right? And I think leadership has been doing all of these things that Rowan Kitty was talking about in this live stream or this analysis video that he did. So I think these type of things is very well. It's valuable to me to learn about this particular live stream. I watched it probably like 5 times already just to soak in all of the information. Then just to learn how he come about this type of thing. What website does he use and all that stuff. Just to hone on my own, future investing career, so to speak, right? I'm all about like doing it for yourself. I'm not well enough to kind of teach people how to do this myself. But maybe in the future, maybe 10 years from now, I would be a lot more knowledgeable. I post your live stream. Oh, thank you. No wonder there's so many people. Thank you. Appreciate that. Now I'm nervous. I might just X out in short period of time. Fourth quarter gonna be positive. Okay. I have upgraded my Bitcoin ETF now. Wait, is it approved already? I don't think it's approved yet, no? I think it's all hyped now. But even if it's approved, I don't think the price gonna start going up. I think, if anything, the opposite would happen. MSTR, microchip strategy, top Bitcoin holder. Yes, I know that part. Yeah, I think if you want to buy into MicroStrategy and proxy in the way that you don't want to, well, for those people who doesn't know how to buy actual Bitcoin, I think MicroStrategy is the best play thus far, right? And I think there's other like Bitcoin mining company as well, Mara, Riot, and all that stuff gonna do pretty well. But again, I think it's in the next 2 years though. I think it's gonna consolidate a little bit. I think I had my price point right here. To me, I mean, knowing the cycle of Bitcoin, again, it's not gonna happen like right away, in my opinion, my humble opinion. So I have my price point up here. So the news been very positive lately, so it might bring some more people in before they drop down to scare people off again. Institution has their way of doing this all the time, and they only react, they know that people only react to the initial news. They don't really care for the update so much, and the update is usually like the obscured way. It's the same way that they present the unemployment data, right? Jobs data and all that stuff that just come out yesterday on my live stream, like they would do the revision, and then now they learn to do the revision of the revision, because like less and less people paying attention to the revision of the revision, right? And so by the time the revision of the revision comes out, they're less likely to pay attention to that. And so again, like they know how to, distribute the news to their benefit, and if you're just reactional to the daily price point like traders do, you're gonna lose. Most of you're gonna lose. Only the best of the best get to win out on those trades. I'm not saying you can make money day trading here. I'm saying that it's gonna be a lot stressful and more involved than just knowing all the news, right? Unless you are like the insider traders. Okay, yeah, you could hit it at any point, but we don't have that privilege as a retail investor. So the best thing you could do is to learn as much as you can about the network if you're interested in it, and always invest for the long terms, right? 10 years or more. And this is why, heck, if I knew what I know now today, I would have held Bitcoin until the end of time. Right? But again, that's like future self. Like usually you don't, you always say, oh, you never know what the future holds. You might lose everything over here, right? That's also the possibility too. But if you have the knowledge of the Bitcoin network, how it works and all that stuff, you're not at the whims of what the news is telling you to do, what the analyst out there is telling you to do. I'm sure the analyst out there is telling you to sell right here, at GME at the lowest point. It's like, oh, sell now. They're filing for bankruptcy right here. Yep. They're never going to post any profits ever in the entire organization, or at the entire company is going to go under, like physical game. That's all they're doing, right? And at the time, I bet you anything, you probably could find articles saying like, oh, if leadership doesn't pivot, doing something now, the company's going to be terrible. I bet you anything, now that they are pivoting, right? That they are pivoting. They've been upgrading. They've been doing a lot of things, like to the website, to the infrastructure. They've been cutting down stores, right? And I make this comment before. Since I have more people watching now, I'm gonna make it again because like you might not be able to see that one. But I was like, 3 years ago, people were like, oh, why are they cutting stores, right? It's like, I think Brian Suzy or even Lisa Link in the CNBC make this comment too. They were like, well, they can't just cutting store and hope for profitability. Eventually, they're going to have to expand, the top line revenue. All they care about is top line revenue. But what they are not saying now, I feel like it's suspicious, because think about how many company at this moment in time is laying off like crazy, right? You've heard of like job loss and all that stuff, right? And yesterday data was not a good one. Like even then, it's like they're saying, oh, there's 216,000 jobs being added, but with the revision, I bet you anything, I think I showed George Garman, the Rebel Capital. Hold on, I think it's like the revision is like not even close to what it should be. It's like it's not within like 10,000 jobs here. It's like hundreds of thousand jobs being discrepant, right? So, for example, if they're posting a negative 216,000, the next revision was like 600 or something. Like there's crazy discrepancy there. So there's some shenanigans that happen in those jobs data. So what you're seeing is that people are like companies out there, they are making the decision now they want to cut jobs. But what I'm saying is that leadership in GameStop did it right, because they were making the the tough decision to close down stores, not expanding, cutting down costs, right? Back then, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, in order to do what? To succeed in this time. And so, again, they make the right decision thus far, in my opinion. Yes, it's to slow. I mean, it's cradle the price, but again, the price point really doesn't matter at this point if you are thinking about it in the long term, like 10 years from now, right? Just the inflation alone, think about it. I mean, do you think you could buy GameStop at $15, $16 10 years from now? Good luck. You can't even buy a Big Mac at $15, in 10 years. So just inflation alone, it's a no-brainer, right? And on top of that, companies doing well, great leadership. I mean, what more can you ask, leadership to do? And the fact that they don't have an earnings call, these people throwing tantrum, why? Why is that the thing, right? You could go and read it for yourself. Like, Ryan Cohen would just be here and read off of the thing anyway. It's a waste of his time. He needs to work for the greater good of humanity. Okay. Well, it's not to that point. I'm sure he's trying to build his legacy, right? I think he's leading by example, and I think he's the man to do it, And I admire people like that, where you're not leading from the behind, like you're leading from the front. Like, of course, it's gonna make people's skin crawl sometime, and people who are there just to stand to benefit from the masses for so long. And when people like Ryan Cohen exist, it rubs them the wrong way, and that's why Brian Susie from Yahoo Finance seems to be so mad at this guy. It's like, oh, he doesn't take any salary. Pretty mighty of him. It's like, oh, that's so good of him. I'm like, what? Are you a child? Like, and you're a 12 years analyst. You're doing that. It's like, I would be. Sorry. I'm a child myself too. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, everybody. Sorry, I didn't pay attention to the chat. Okay. Bitcoin ETF. Okay, I read that one. North Star, missing you. Okay, Gabriel. Thank you, everybody, for joining. I miss all of you guys. Thank you. Good. Appreciate all of you. I'm not big on crypto, but would like to learn more. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. I mean, I am currently kind of take a break from crypto, especially to me. Again, the regulation is in the way right now. I mean, I still have I would say a considerably large portion. In other platform, right? Currently, I'm still waiting on Celsius lawsuit to finalize. From what I heard, I am going to get something back. Hopefully, I think by the end of this month, they're going to tell us how much of that will be distributed back to the people. And so I need to be finalized. So again, as long as I think at this price point, I probably would get 80% to 60% back. But again, I don't know the final amount until then. So a large portion was stuck in there. I did regret not taking it back. But again, it's money that I'm willing to wait until like 10 years from now. And I have been building a position, some of it, but I didn't want to build too much because again, like it's a money that I might not get back in a sense. But I do have like, loop ring and all that stuff, just, to interact with the network and learn how to do it. Once the regulator figure out what Bitcoin is, what crypto is, which crypto is allowed to run or whatever, then that's when, I feel like the opportunity is still there. for people who want to get into crypto and all that stuff. Until then I'll be more comfortable kind of talk about more of the network and all that stuff, different networks here and there. But I'm not an expert on it, honestly. Like, there are many other YouTubers that are more well-versed than I am. I just feel like I'm looking for the opportunity before it hits, so to speak, before it becomes popular. I feel like I have an eye for that. But again, it's risky. It's like, that's why you don't put everything you have in one thing, right? With GameStop, though, I think it's a little bit different because I am highly convicted in this play for now, at this moment in time, because I think that the price point is low enough for me to, stand to gain a lot more in 10, 20 years from now. So yeah, opportunity is here. Opportunity is everywhere. You're not gonna miss anything much. Of course, like the news will try to kind of influence you to act right away. Oh, if you don't jump in now, or if you don't sell out now, you're gonna lose everything, or you're gonna lose all the gains you got, right? Stuff like that. So the best part for you to learn about crypto is to kind of like observe what the news is doing at the current time, if you haven't been in there already, and to kind of know yourself. What kind of a trader are you? Are you a trader? Are you an investor? Are you a believer in the network? Because like there are a diehard Bitcoin enthusiasts, right? Where they only want to own Bitcoin. That's all it is. That's all that matters, right? But to me, there are opportunity, and there are, like, they solve different problem in society, right? So Bitcoin is like a store of, in my opinion, all in my opinion here, from what I've learned, Bitcoin is more like a store of value type of thing, right? Because there's only a certain amount of Bitcoin that is being mined or whatever, and once it's done, if you look at the right here, if you look at the maximum amount right here, of course it could be programmed differently, but currently the program is only allowing this much Bitcoin to be mined, right? And once it hits the maximum, it's not going to be creating more Bitcoin. I'm sure the network's gonna be charging the network whatever that price point is. Currently the halvening cycle, meaning like every single 4 years or so, I think it's based on the block size or block that's being put on the network. 100,000, something like that. Like, again, I don't know all the technical, but apparently every 4 years it does do that halvening cycle, meaning that the Bitcoin network, whoever mining the Bitcoin, will get cut in half. So the fee that they accumulate, the Bitcoin that they would get, it would get cut in half. And that effects usually will give Bitcoin less dilution, right, every single 4 year. So that kind of like, if you have less dilution, you get more value added over time, right? It depends on whoever want to sell out at that point. And miners usually take a hit on that, because again, if the energy cost is exceeding the amount of Bitcoin that they get to mine, because again, it costs energy. So if they could figure out how to do a renewable energy, like solar or whatever, or from I don't know who did this. Again, this is years ago that I heard about this, that you could figure out so much stuff to do where, Bitcoin miner could partner up with some, gas industry, gas refiner industry, because like when you're refining gas, you have like excess energy, that emits from that. And they could convert that energy into, Bitcoin mining, because otherwise it would just evaporate into the air anyway, right? And you don't get to use that extra energy or excess energy to do anything else. It would have gone to waste anyway. So, stuff like that they could figure out how to do. And I'm sure, if the corporation sees the money, they're gonna figure out how to, to address that. Like the fact that people are like, oh, it's global warming and all that all of a sudden. Well, the reason why is because there's money to be made. That's why they want you to think of it that way. And so, if you have the money to it, then you're going to be able to get people to be interested in it. I think Lionel and I joked about this at work too. It's like if they're, and George, there's a comedian that said about it too. It's like if there is a magazine about homelessness and they make money out of homelessness, there will be no homeless people around. But currently there's no, money to be made there. That's why, there's homeless everywhere. And that's unfortunate because, the policy that these politicians are making, they're not to benefit people whatsoever. But anyway, let me get off of my soapbox. So Bitcoin is a, store of value. Ethereum is more like a network type of thing, right? You could build application on the network Ethereum, just like how, Loop Rings was able to build on Ethereum network. So, these type of coins do have their different problem to be solved, right? So XRP, the reason why I was in XRP was because of that, cross-border payment, right? There's a pain point there that needs to be addressed. And so XRP is the fastest, even faster than Bitcoin, right? And cheaper than Bitcoin. And so, but again, the regulator are there to, to safeguard the legacy business, which is the banking system, right? If you don't need the bank to do any transaction, the middleman or whatever, technically, you don't really need them. But because they've been, building the network to, safeguard their business, which is, charging you every time you send money overseas, percentage. Like, I get it if you have $10,000 to send at a time, $50 fee is not that much of a difference, right? But what if you only have $100, as a poor people who want to send, some poor people. But, what I mean, like lower income people who want to send money to help out, their loved one overseas, if every time you send through the banking system, right? $100, you're out $50 already, right? Because they charge a transaction here. Hello, everybody. Oh my goodness, there's so many people. I'm sorry. Okay. Watch it, buddy. Don't know what that is. Pack a lunch. Not quite sure what's happening here. Jimmy ain't going. Wait. Jimmy trash. Okay. All right. We'll wait and see. I don't know. Maybe it is. Well, sell me some of that trash. Just leave it here. We'll take care of that trash. But thank you for that. Giga Bowl. Okay. Giga. Bimo, hello Bimo. Hi, thank you, Brian. Appreciate you being here. Cultists United. Okay, if the cultists. All right. Well, thank you for joining my cult. I appreciate that. I am the pastor. Okay, yes, Expert. Thank you. I will join your cult at any time. You need to check yourself. Okay, thank you. We have Kool-Aid and in the back. Help yourself. Thank you. North Star moves ahead. This is Chess. Okay, this is Chess. Appreciate that. You are suit. I'm not real. Okay. Linda Real? Not quite sure that. Okay, we have some Discord over here. I have not used to this at all. Okay, so don't wish your whole game away, Whitney. You're working ahead into the early grave. Okay, oh God. All right, people are fighting. Okay, we're not playing chess. We're investing in Gamestop. Yes, Mega. Get it. Oh, Giga, Helm. Sorry if I butchered your name or screen name or whatever. You're not paying attention. Yes. Get them. Okay, listen up. Maybe you learned something new today. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Cool. Bitcoin is a scam. I don't know. Look, if you think that, okay. I mean, everything is a scam, no? Like, what is the stock market? How about the market maker? How about, I don't know, anything in life, right? That is new, that is kind of like at least have a $1 trillion market cap. I mean, come on, like there's some value in here, but I think yes, there are most people who will be falling for the scam, right? There's people scamming out of their own cash as well, right? And again, the network itself, it's just a network. How do you use it to do whatever you do? Like people get scammed out of their cash, right? So cash is not the problem. The problem is that there are scammers out there who want your Bitcoin, who want your cash, right? You've heard of, people get scammed out of like a I can't even say the country. The prince, like, they're trying to get money from this and that, and then they're like, can you send me this? I will send you back this, right? Twice or 10 times because I'm a prince. I can't get my inheritance, right? So people get scammed out of their cash as well, but that doesn't mean cash is a scam, so to speak, right? So you just have to know the knowledge of, okay, what is the Bitcoin network? What is Ethereum? What is XRP? What is ADA? The network is there for you to do the research on, right? Each and every token does something different, and they're hoping to solve that type of real world issue, right? If you look at Chainlink, again, like I don't have this coin, but I know about Chainlink. Chainlink is about like it's like this network where you kind of like tag, it's like air tag type of thing of the information that comes in, verifying information, right? Is this the right price for certain things? Like if you kind of think of it as an alert to verify, is this information correct? So that's what Chainlink is trying to do. And currently I think they have a whole bunch of I haven't followed this coin for a while, but from what I heard back then is that it's an oracle type of coin where it would verify, okay, is this price is correct price based on the current market condition type thing. So it's valuable for people. I'm sure that's why people are investing in it. Uniswap, you know what Uniswap is? It's like a market maker, right? You could, put your coin or your tokens or whatever, Ethereum. So you have so much in this space that people don't really, care to look into. They only like think about, so-and-so said it's going to go up, therefore I'm going to put money in. And then they don't realize, it's a pump and dump, right? But when you think about it, the whole, it's based on who got in first, right? And who understand the network of what is Stellar Lumen, So if you don't know that, of course, you're going to be so jumpy bought at this price, think it was a pump and dump, lost so much, you don't even realize, okay, if you hold it for 10 years, you might see something, right? And this is where the value of long-term investing come from, is that, okay, let's learn about this network as much as we can, and then, whatever information that comes in, hopefully it's the right information, and then go from there. There's opportunity every single days of your life. It's not just here in Bitcoin and in crypto or whatever. If you think it's a scam, then okay, go to the market. Go to TME, SoFi or whatever. If you think that SoFi is gonna go amazingly in 5 years, okay, invest in it. But most people only care about the short-term burst of things, and that's why you get wrecked, in my opinion. Right? I got wrecked, and I learned from it. So all life experiences, all investing experience is coming from learning who you are as a person, and who you're willing to, what kind of risk are you willing to take, at your age, at your current situation, at your level of life that you want to achieve in the future. Like, if you want to live a simple life, obviously just make sure you put enough for that simple life, and then retire after that, right? So hopefully we don't have to rely on the government to take care of us all the time, on that paycheck of Social Security and all that stuff, and hopefully you get a supplement on top of that in order to do whatever. So that's what my goal is to invest enough in order to live a comfortable life in the future, right? And since it is my future, of course I'm gonna worry about the quality of information that I get from wherever, right? Whether it's Yahoo Finance or whatever, to do the opposite. That's right. That's my analysis on the news. But if you see the same information and you come at it as, GameStop is this, GameStop is a scam, GameStop is a trash, okay, then you might be missing out on this amazing trash here in front of you. I mean, how many people have said many a time that Bitcoin is trash, right? Don't you remember over here somewhere? I think Warren Buffett said Bitcoin is a rat poison or something like that, or it was Charles Munger, right? It's a rat poison, greater fool theory, right? It's like only fools would invest in this type of thing, not knowing that the community of Bitcoin are actually programmers. They're, and I see the similarity between these type of group, right? You think about gamers. Oh, this is what I was gonna talk about, but this is a good segue to what I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna take a break a little bit too, but before I go, I see a similarity between the Bitcoiner, like the enthusiast, the diehard Bitcoin, holder type things that they've been holding for decades already, right? And I see the similarity of how lymphatic they are about emphatic. Am I saying the right word? How enthusiastic they are about the network itself. They don't care about the price point, right? Of course, the price is, giving them encourage to keep working on the network and so forth, right? Or to build on whatever the platform that they're building on in order to, see this technology to go further, right? And so, they have this love of the Bitcoin network and try to preserve it as much as they can, versus the gaming community, right? Of course, they love their game, they love their setup, they want the perfect for their, setup. And so, to beat the score that it needs to beat, right? So I'm gonna play this one for you. It's a little bit long while I'm taking a break here, and I'll read the chat in a minute. But this is a good example of how dedicated gamers are. And apparently this kid just beat Tetris in 34 years of the game being in existence, right? And of course, before this, nobody could beat it, or human anyway. So this kid was able to beat Tetris. So I'm gonna play it for you a little bit, and I'll be right back. Okay, so let me do this real quick. It's a learning process, you guys. This is investing in, GameStop has its ups and downs, right? But anyway, so I'm back. I am apologizing. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I appreciate drop it hard. Oh my goodness. Yes. Okay. Alright, so let's play it a little bit.
Something unexpected is about to happen.
Oh my god!
He just became the first person ever to trigger a game crash, reaching the true kill screen, which is by far the biggest achievement in the 34-year-old history of the Pro Classic Tetris scene. So why is this such a big deal? And can a record like this ever be broken? To answer both those questions, we need to go back and start with the first unbeatable barrier in the game. In NES Tetris, released for the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1989, the goal is to assemble falling blocks to clear complete lines. For every 10 lines cleared, you move up a level and the speed gets a little bit faster. The fastest speed is reached at level 29, and at this point the pieces can no longer reliably get to the sides by holding down the side-to-side buttons. For decades, this was considered the end of the game, and level 29 got dubbed the kill screen because it always killed your run. Except it wasn't a kill screen in the traditional sense. In retro games, a kill screen normally refers to when it's impossible to get any further due to a glitch in the game's code. For example, in Pac-Man, the kill screen is reached at level 256, where a glitch garbles the entire right side of the screen and you aren't able to eat enough white dots to clear the level. NES Tetris doesn't actually have a glitch at level 29. The level is clearable if you can somehow figure out a way to move the pieces faster. And in 2011, Thor Ackerlund became the first person to reach level 30 on video by vibrating his fingers to mash the controller faster than the game's built-in speed, a technique known as hyper tapping. And because level 29 is the maximum speed in the game, all the levels afterwards don't get any faster, so it was theoretically possible to go even higher. Thor's level world record would stand for 7 years, until a teenage hyper-tapping prodigy, Joseph Saley, broke it in 2018 by becoming the first player to reach level 31. Joseph's skill would allow him to win 2 Tetris World Championship titles in 2018 and 2019, and he slowly kept pushing the level world record upwards all the way to level 35, until an even faster hyper-tapper, Eric ICX, came along and became the first to reach levels 37 and 38. Now this was light years ahead of what anyone would have expected when the game first came out, but overall progress on the record was still slow because hyper-tapping only barely made level 29 speed possible. Deep runs into the 30s still required getting good luck with the pieces and near perfect placements with almost zero margin for error. In order to truly push things a lot further, some kind of breakthrough was needed. But then a new technique came along that would change everything. In 2020, a Tetris player named Cheese watched a video on various button mashing strategies and had the epiphany to combine a multi-finger technique by Hector Fly done on arcade cabinets and another technique that used a finger on the bottom of the controller to push it into another finger on the top. He called this new technique rolling, and it allowed him to easily reach button mashing speeds over twice as fast as the quickest hyper tappers. He became the first player to ever reach level 40, and although a hyper tapper named Alex Thatch would end up taking the record back, he would be the last tapper ever to do so. Over the next few months, there was a flurry of new records as most of the top players in the scene switched over to the new rolling technique, culminating in Eric ICX, now a roller, shattering the record in 2021 by making it all the way to level 95. With the fastest speed in the game now fully mastered, it seemed like the sky was the limit for how far players could go, but an even bigger challenge than speed was looming on the horizon. NES Tetris was originally designed with 10 normal-looking color palettes for levels 0 to 9 that were bright, colorful, and easily visible. Every time you go up 10 levels, the game then loops back around to the first color scheme. But because this game was coded in the 1980s, everything is written to try and be extremely memory efficient. So the line of code that's supposed to determine the level color glitches out starting at level 138 and starts pulling data from outside the color table, resulting in a bunch of random, bizarre color palettes that can be difficult to see. If you're into code and wondering exactly how and why this happens, Hydrant Dude has a great 2-minute explainer video video on the subject that I'll link in the description. Obviously, the colors glitch wasn't a problem when the game first came out because making it to level 138 would have been a pipe dream. But now, players were actually on the verge of getting there. Technically, the first player to reach the glitch colors was Fractal161, but he opted to go for it on the much lesser played PAL version of the game, which runs 20% slower than the much more common NTSC version that is used in the World Championships and most of the main leaderboards, including this one. Eric ICX became the first person to achieve glitched colors on the NTSC version, impressively managing to get it in an actual tournament match and making it all the way to level 146 before a particularly dim level caused him to top out. He ended up winning the 2022 World Championships a few months later. But now the combination of challenges with visibility and sheer endurance were starting to seriously slow down progress again, as Eric's world record game had lasted nearly 40 minutes. It took over a year before anyone was able to get past the dim level that had taken out Eric, and when a player named Pixel Andy finally managed to beat it, he got taken out by an even more difficult level featuring pieces that were nearly pitch black.
Wait, the colors! I can't see it! No! I couldn't see it! I couldn't see it on my screen. It just went dark.
So what was the future of the record? Slow incremental progress at increasingly difficult to see levels? Well, it turns out the most significant achievement yet was closer than anyone thought. Back in 2021, a programmer Greg Cannon made a Tetris-playing AI called Stack Rabbit in order to push the game far beyond what was possible for a human. Not limited by stamina or eyesight, Stack Rabbit was able to fly past the most difficult glitched color levels with ease, and Greg ended up coining names for each of the color schemes as they passed, such as calling the dim level that took out Eric Dusk, and the black level that took out Andy Charcoal. Stack Rabbit would continue to play through even more bizarre glitches that happened later on, such as level 235, which lasts for 800 lines instead of the typical 10. But eventually, the game just can't function anymore.
And there's the long bar, and it's gonna crash the game with that Tetris into level 237. Its final score is 102 million.
So what's going on here? In the simplest possible terms, the game is running on code, which is instructions on what to do next, and RAM, which is its workspace where it calculates things and keeps track of what it's doing. The game's code starts to become really inefficient on very high levels because no one was expected to get this far, and eventually a glitch happens where the game switches from reading instructions from the code to reading the RAM as if it were code. If the resulting garble generates a stop command, it completely breaks the game, leading to it being called the true kill screen. If you want the full technical breakdown, again, Hydrant Dude has a great video on the topic that I'll link in the description. But here's the thing, the game crash doesn't always happen in the same spot, because the glitch can get triggered by very specific things depending on the level, such as what piece you have or how many lines you clear at once. And Stack Rabbit was actually playing on a modified version of the game that has 7 digits in the score counter instead of 6, so it didn't have the same crash spots as an unmodified version. In 2022, there was a massive effort put into researching the mechanics of the crash, and Hydrant Dude made a spreadsheet tallying up every possible situation that could cause the crash to be triggered. Yeah, I know, the same guy again. This guy's the MVP of documenting all this stuff. And it turns out that the earliest possible trigger for the crash on the unmodified original version of the game was a single at the transition into level 155. That actually wasn't too far off from the world record. A human might actually be able to do that, provided they could get through Dusk and Charcoal. In 2023, after Fractal won the World Championships and firmly established himself as the best current player in the scene, he decided to start live streaming daily attempts to get the crash. But on the very first night of his grind, a player named Blue Scooty shocked the scene by being the first player to ever beat Charcoal and make it all the way to level 153. Not only did this set a new level world record and score world record to boot, it was only 18 lines away from the first crash.
Anyway, so I'll link this video down below so you could see the whole thing. But man, it's like just that history alone. You think about how dedicated these gamers are, and you know, just I'm thinking like, can anybody be doing anything impossible? And you know, like having people beating AI in a sense, right? And I think if anybody who have the stamina to stand up for people and all that stuff, I mean, stand up to, you know, the scrutiny of people in the stock market, it would be Ryan Cohen, right? You know, I see the drive in him to kind of do the best he can, obviously, right, for himself, and that's why you know, we're just there for along for the ride here, of course. But anyway, so that's why I'm like thinking about this particular segment. It's like, man, like if people are dedicated enough, they could do anything that many people think it's impossible, and we could turn trash into treasure in that sense, right? Like just that commoner right here. I don't know Winthrop or whatever who your name is, saying that GME is a trash. Well, we could turn it into treasure at some point, right? And so it's all it is just within the right attitude, within the right temperament. You could beat anything. I mean, look at this kid. He's a kid. And he beats AI in that sense. So eventually, I'm sure, he beats it. He crashed the game, and I don't know how many, time he's playing this, but if you were to fast forward to the end, I think, hold on. At that moment, I think they were live streaming it, and he was like, oh my god, I can't believe I did it type thing. But yeah, I mean, this is the gaming community, is that, you have a lot of people who are very dedicated to their craft, and this is all they wanted to do. And I'm thinking, Ryan Cohen is the same way. He wants to make this company the best that he know how to, right? And I think, again, this is just my speculation, and I'm sure most of you who are watching this are thinking the same way, along the line of, hey, this company is not something to be asleep on, right? And this is, in my opinion, is an opportunity of a lifetime. Like I said before, I mean, in 10 years, do you really think that you could buy GameStop at $14 or whatever the current price is? At $15.96. Do you really think that you could buy that in 10 years? I highly doubt it. Alright, let me go through the chat here. Sorry about that, you guys. That was annoying in a minute. Okay, you're wrong. You're on the wrong side of history. Yes. North Star is still using I don't know what that is. Telegram. What's wrong with being in a cult? Thank you. Community is everything. Shorts closed, bro. Okay, that's fine. I mean, who cares about the short? We're caring about the fundamental of the company. We want the company to do well, and whether they close or not, it makes no damn sense. Okay, if you could add more, go ahead, add more. If you think it's trash, add more to your position. That's fine. It makes no difference. Again, we're in here for a long-term growth of this company, and we're patient enough to let Ryan Cohen and his board of director to do what is best for the company, and we think he's doing pretty mighty fine out there. So that was 3 years ago. Yeah, that's fine. That was 3 years ago, and he was able to spot GameStop at a very severely undervalued, and I still think that this price point here, it's pretty good, price point to get in. Like I said, just inflation alone. Do you think that you could buy GameStop at $16 right now? I bet you anything, McDonald's probably gonna be $20 a meal at one point, right, in 10 years. So inflation's going to keep going up. Cost of living is going to keep going up at some point, right? With the exception of the depression, right? Hopefully, we don't get to see that. But if there's a soft landing, a crash coming, and all that stuff, it's going to put somebody out of business. But guess what? GameStop is not one of them. You know why? Because actually they have money to probably hire people while people are closing left and right, because like I said in my earlier, that they did the right decision. They make the right decision 3 years ago to close down store, to cut down costs, to cut down workforce, right? When people are expanding like crazy, thinking that, their stock price going up like crazy, living high and mighty, without thinking about, okay, 3 years from now, it's going to be doing this, right? And again, leadership in GameStop did the right thing in doing that. It was a difficult decision because your price point is not going to, match what it should be, right? Because again, they want you to hype it up. Of course, the media wants GameStop to actually spend those money, right? I've heard it in many segments in the news media. Oh, what are they gonna do with that money? They need to do something with that money, or else it's not gonna be. It's like no. Why would you want to do something, when we're in trouble right now? Like currently, don't you see the people right now? All of the organization, like even Chick-fil-A, even Pizza Hut is hurting, like cutting down on deliveries and delivery drivers or whatever, when they shouldn't have, right? Because if the economy is doing well, why are they cutting and stampeding to cut costs, stampeding to even give people bonus early in order to have them not coming in ever? So bribing people to take bonus in order to just not, you resign, here's your bonus, take it now, or you might be let go in the future if we have to let you go or whatever. It actually happened to my sister's factory. She works in Australia. She's in Australia right now, and she was talking about how my work offer anyone who wants to quit the job right now a sum of money, but then you won't get a job type thing, right? So you've seen this stuff happen in my personal life that I've heard about my sister. Again, this is anecdotal, but it happens in Australia right now. I'm sure it's all over the world as well. You've heard about what? Bank of America? I think that's the one who I should. Bank of America layoff. I think one of those things, right? That happens. Because like offer approximately to wealth management unit, layoff, bank cuts. Let's see. 62,000 position in 2023 last year. So they just did it recently, like thinking that it's gonna be expanding and all that stuff. And while people are expanding, my point is that GME did the right thing to not expand, to just sit tight with the money, and now they're sitting pretty, even when people are just are struggling in the sense, right? Number one, they don't have to go to the bank and say, hey, can I lend billions of dollars, and overextend themselves and kind of beholden to whatever the bondholder is doing, right? Or want from that loan. We have our own money. We have our own reserve. We could go with that, expand sensibly, so that the reserve doesn't get diminished. And I think he's trying to mimic Apple as well. I feel like the amount of security, marketable security here in Treasury bond that you see here. If you look at the cash flow, hold on, I think balance sheet. There we go. So that $300 million, I bet you anything, it's going to continue to rack up more and more. Maybe $20 million a quarter, perhaps, right? Even just that, it makes all the more the difference to the balance sheets, to the bottom line, and all that stuff. So if you could even do $100 million a year, just in the marketable security alone, eventually you're going to have $1 billion in 10 years. Right? But that hundreds of millions of dollars in the year previously that we're able to stash away was accruing interest as well. So I bet you anything, if he were to consistently put $100 million a year onto that marketable security, even if it only pays 2 or 3%, it's still add up to a lot. Compound interest is it works the other way as well, right? Compound interest for debt owner is worse for you, because you're borrowing from your future, to fund your current lifestyle, right? But for people who save, it could afford you a better future in a shorter period of time than you might think, right? Because you've been consistent at putting away, marketable security, as a asset manager. I think Ryan Cohen is doing a better job than I would, in my own life. But I see the diligence that he's been able to do wonder for this company. Like, I know, like, people think it's a trash company and all that stuff. Of course, that's their problem, right? Perhaps they don't look at this the same way I do. In which case, I want that facts. Like, why do you think it's trash? I mean, if you look at this type of number and you still think it's trash, what changed? Like, what metric do you use? Saying that it's the same, company that it was 3 years ago. Sorry, my mom is, hold on one second. Sorry, I had to close the door. So, yeah, I mean, like, if you think that this company is a trash company, then what metric are you using? Like, what trend are you seeing that we don't see here? The fact that they are, look, if you look at the top line revenue over here, from last year to this year, current reporting time here are, it's like they went from $6 billion to 5.6. Like, that's a $300 million difference right there, right? But look at the gross profit. Went up by $100 million. So the fact that they're saying, oh, you can't cut your way to profitability is wrong, right? Based on the number that you're seeing. Unless you're doing some other math that I don't know about. Then, isn't that your problem there? Because you don't really know how to do math? I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm not to belittle anyone, but I'm just saying, like, if the 12 years worth of analysis, saying to you that this is wrong, or saying to you that this is trash company, and then you see it for yourself, look under the hood and say, wait a minute. So they decrease top line revenue by 300 million, but then they increase their gross profit by $100 million. So you're telling me that when they cut, they make money. I mean, evidently, right? I mean, you see it right in front of your face right here. Number don't lie. Right? And then let me see the cash balance from last year. So gross profit went up by 100 million. Okay, look at the cash balance. So even the cash balance was increased by 200 million. So what's the problem here? I don't see it. So please show me, whoever said that this company is trash, please. Like, what math do you do to do that? MOAS is tomorrow. Well, I'm not saying about MOAS or anything like that. MOAS is after we are on S&P 500. How about that? However long that is, we'll see. We're caring about one step at a time here, and every step of the way we're making, the decision that you make right now, carry you through hopefully 10 years from now, right? But so before you make that decision, I feel like, Ryan Cohen have all of the facts that he needs in front of him, right? And he's a smart enough person to know, at least thus far, to cut down costs, to cut down, stores, front or whatever, in order to set up himself or the company for the success that it will be in this environment when people are struggling, when people are like stampeding to cut costs now when they should have been doing that 3 years ago, right? And so again, like this type of decision matters. And again, like 3 years ago, people were trashing on GameStop saying like, oh, why are they cutting store? Look, they're spending $700 million in a year. Oh my God. It's like without saying, looking at other stuff, right? I think and then I'm going to do shareholder equity actually. There we go. So what I want to show you here is, again, don't worry about this one. I'm just doing my own prediction here. Trying to see what's going on next quarter, right? So this is when Ryan Cohen, kind of got into the board of director, right? And he wasn't like directly involved in the day-to-day executive decision, whatnot, right? Not until recently, like, this past year. But Ryan Cohen got in right here at this price point right here when shareholder equity was 400. Hold on, let me see if I could. No, I can't. $436 million, right? But back then, look at the gross profit. It's a little bit higher than it was because what it is. And then look at the expense. So the gross profit is as high as an expense. You spend more, but you make a little bit more right there. But again, this is not a trailing 12, so it's end of quarter. So it's a little bit different math. I would have been better doing a trailing 12. But hold on, let me see if sorry you guys. I think revenue. I should look at the revenue. Cost of revenue. So with the revenue, so this is end of quarter. So it's not trailing 12. That's why this is per quarter, not trailing 12 months of the last 12 months. So I hope that makes sense. So this is fourth quarter of the time that Ryan Cohen got in as the board of director, right? Have some influence there, but not like the day-to-day executive decision. But he's involved in that, right? And then the next quarter, you see the jump, right? And I'm sure that's like when they were, it's like if you were to compare this to this, this is the year in which he kind of have some influence in that, right? After a year of being a board of director or whatever, he was able to increase the shareholder equity by 4 times. Okay? Now you might say, well, at that time they were selling, shares to the, dumb money, so to speak. That's why he's able to do this. Well, have he been maintaining somewhat, and what have he been doing with the decrease, right? So if you're telling me that, oh, he got lucky because he was selling shares to the public, for a higher price, what are we getting back from that? Well, right now you have the well-run machine oiled here, or well-run company that hopefully will carry us to the future. Again, this is the bet that we're willing to make, right, on Ryan Cohen leadership and the company that he's, running, the industry that he's running. Gaming industry is not going anywhere, right? And we have a lot of these type of people around where they would, spend hours playing this same game, right? To do what, right? So those type of things matter. But as far as the fundamental of the company, you see all of this, the change. I wish I would have had the trailing 12 up, but I didn't. I apologize for that, but my point is that with all of this decrease, it's quarter by quarter. So next quarter or next year, hopefully it's going to be a little bit more, perhaps going back to, well, this is what we're hoping, right? Going back to, the original position right here. shareholder equity is going to be a lot more higher than this, right? But currently, we need to spend some money in order to, make that dream happen, right? And so he's making the right decision in order to get, to that point. But yeah, I mean, all in all, though, after that 3 years of, rearranging things, cutting down things, we are to the point where we're pretty good. But actually, we're pretty good 4 quarters ago. For those of you who still thinking that this is trash company or whatever. If you look at this right here, cash flow positive is everything, right? It's just to kind of signal to people that the company is actually trending the right direction. And we've been trending the right direction for a long time. Try to look for cash flow positive. Goodness. Right here, net cash flow. So currently, net cash flow right here, is in the positive. That's good. But free cash flow, we've been free cash flow for at least 4 quarters in the row. Okay? And so if you look at from last year to this year reporting currently, that's a $500 million swing right there in the positive. So you're saying that the leadership is somehow failing? How are they failing when they're making positive, things to the company? It makes no sense. And if you're saying that, okay, $500 million is nothing, then what are you saying to, the investor who invest in, I don't know, what, SoFi? How about go to SoFi? I mean, isn't that all of the, points of investing is to get a cash, or at least cash flow positive means something, right? Hold on. What is cash flow positive here for SoFi? Are they even cash flow positive? Retaining loss, $1.5 billion right there. We only have 270 right now at the moment. But of course, people are pumping SoFi right now. Why? And they're saying about, it's a long-term investment. Okay, that's great. How about GameStop? If you look at the trailing 12 net income as well, it's in the negative to the tune of hundreds of. I mean, imagine if this is GameStop, and look at their revenue, very low. I get it; they have high profit margin. I get that. Gross profit margin is pretty high for the company. And again, this is a financial company, so it's a different industry sector to compare. I get that. That's ridiculous for me to compare these two, right? But look at the cash flow positive. Look at the cash flow. What? Is this even possible? Hold on. So I'm looking at goodwill as well. I mean, I showed this to you guys before, but it seems like it went down here too. So that's problematic, right? So that's the thing that prop up the asset balance because it's in the asset. But if you look at the financial cash flow, net cash flow, free cash flow, it's negative $9.5 billion. How is that good for the company to be in? But net cash flow, though, it's $2 billion. I don't know. So I don't feel qualified enough to analyze a financial, company. But so far, I wouldn't touch it yet. Again, I'm thinking of this company as a long-term investing. If I'm adding little by little, when it makes sense to me, right? I'm not all in to this. I have this share, like I told you guys, and I did a covered call. My share has been gone now, but I'm planning to add more eventually. I think currently I have a put, cash secure put at at 800 at 8.50 or whatever. I need to double check, but I bought some cash secure, open up some cash secure put because I think it's gonna go up a little bit. But again, it's just a very small, like one contract here. I'm not talking about thousands of dollars here at all. So I mean, just full disclosure here. But as far as like the immediacy of it going up immensely, I don't see that urgency. You might have people who are like banking on the fact that SoFi is going to, post a positive earnings, and I've talked about that before, where they are expected to have positive earnings. So is GameStop, right? Now, perhaps the news kind of try to get ahead of the earnings report, which is, I think, the end of this month. So, I mean, people tend to make video based on that sometimes. That's why, just due to popularity, due to, they want more eyes on the news. I mean, more eyes on their video. That's why they do that. All right, it's been a long time, you guys. Oh my goodness, there's a lot. Okay, it's gonna take me a while. More as tomorrow. These poor investor, oh man. Like, yes, manual very bad for them. Hopefully they can find a good stock. I don't know what you're referring to there. Cosmic is a great blockchain company. I mean, I don't have Cosmo. I've heard of that one. I think I used to own it in the early days, but I don't have it anymore. I think I sold, for a small profit. What I regret not buying is Matic, though. Oh man, like, I saw it at 1 penny at one point, and did not make that decision. So that's the only thing that I'm regretting. Matic. Sure. Shout out to Cosmic Lightning. Yes. GME is a buy at one. Okay. Hey, let that happen. $1.25. Thank you. Praise the Lord. I need one of my meme stock to go up. 2024. Hey, if that's your cup of tea, go ahead. Be careful doing all of that call option shenanigans. Be careful, but okay. Long-term investor will benefit a lot more. I mean, if you look at the Warren Buffett saying, right? Just learn from the best. You might learn something there. I think I bring it up all the time, and I'm going to bring it up here now too. If you want to own something, a stock or whatever, be sure that you're going to hold it for at least 10 to 15 years, right? Then if you're not willing to hold it for 10 to 15 years, you have no business in being in that stock in the first place, because you're just going to be at the whims of all of this price action, And what makes a stock a good stock is, number one, good leadership. Number two, good industry, right? Number three, good balance sheets, right? And I would add to that, at the very least, hold on, at the very least, no debt, right? no beholden to anybody but yourself, and that's what GameStop is currently, right? They're operating in the right way, slowly but surely. It's gonna grow in time. Okay, drop it hard. Tetris, why is the sound? I'm sorry for that, you guys. Tetris Classic, say hi to mom. Great. Amazon offer faster delivery and okay, we could beat that. I mean, come on, we could beat that. People are sick and tired of Amazon. Come on, it's too big. In my opinion. Okay, people are saying it's trash, or a salty bag holder who bought it at, right, $300, right? I mean, that's why, because again, they were just jumping in at the top and complain that, that somehow the company is going to not deliver or whatever. But if they've been consistently at adding at a lower price, you're going to eventually have a better price point later on in your life. But that's why you don't make rash decision into buying into something and not knowing, okay, this is probably just people being enthusiastic about the stock at the time, or whatever the circumstance is to have that price point go up that high. At the time, of course, even the fundamental could not justify the price point. Therefore, at some point, it's going to come back to the fundamental, right? So it's like one of those charts when you see the fair value versus what the current price is. So it fluctuates, it swing, it's like a pendulum, right? It swing up and down, but eventually it's going to come back to the fair value. And this is why it's important to look into the balance sheet. How much are you willing to pay for this particular stock? Is $15 too high for you? Okay, then wait. If $16 is too high for you, then wait until you think it's gonna fall into $1. Okay, go ahead. Wait until that time come, then do that. I will do what I think it's best for me, right? Which is, what I'm gonna decide to do. But what I'm deciding to do, it's none of your business, right? What I'm trying to say is that at this price, I don't know. Can you buy it 10 years from now at this price? If the answer is yes, then wait. If 10 years from now you think everything's gonna go up, everything 10 years from now, can this company be better off or worse off? That's on you to determine. Most people probably think that this company was down already and bankrupt already at this time, right? And it's still standing strong. So, okay, go ahead. If you want to short this company, add more. Add more to your position and stand in your conviction. And don't average down. You're right. They thought GME was a get rich quick scheme, and then they get pissed off and then rich after 3 years of investing. Right. That's why when I was thinking about that too, recently. Of course, yes, we want our digit to go up a very short period of time, but those are short-lived, right? You can't hit that. Like if you hit that high already at a younger age or whatever, congratulations to you. But hopefully you learn not to kind of chase that high, because if that is the best time of your life, earning that money, like trades, for example, and all that stuff. Like these people, were very lucky, and I hope they managed their wealth very well after that and all, whatever. But to mislead people into thinking that, oh, that's gonna happen again, that's why I'm always trying to tame myself. Anytime I see the price action going up 50% or whatever in 3 months, I'm like, eventually it's gonna come down again, less hyped and all that stuff. But I'm still convicted in the play. I'm not, selling out at this price point at all, because why? Like I'm here in the long term, right? So in 3 years, you want to think that that's gonna bring you some sort of, not even Amazon, couldn't achieve that in 3 years. So and think about your career too. Like, what can you do in 3 years? What can you achieve in 3 years? It's like you can't even get a bachelor degree in 3 years, right? And even getting a bachelor degree, you might not even get the job that you study for. Like many people make that decision too. And so they need, even higher education, master degree or some sort of certification in order to, get to that level. But again, like any decision that you make takes some time, it takes time to get to that level that you want to achieve. And Ryan Cohen is young enough to be able to do that for the long term, and people just give him 3 years. It's like, oh, this guy's been in this company for 3 years. Look, there's nothing. It's like, nothing? Really? Nothing? Is $500 million swing in a year nothing? I mean, come on. It's like, and then they only use the loss. Remember Brian Suzy? I think I make that video as well. He's only showing, the $700 million, like that's 2 years ago when he's trying to present how, this company is losing money. It's like, yeah, they use some money that they have, that they could afford to use at the time because they sold some shares into the market in order to expand the company. That's what public trading companies do when they're in trouble and trying to expand. They take some money from the public. Hopefully they're going to give back eventually, right? And the public who believe in the company, believing in the leadership, the direction, they're going to make that choice to give that money, even though they're not going to get it back eventually, in 3 years, right? Now, hopefully, you're not going to sell at the loss and get some shares of the company for the future. So that's the whole point of selling shares into the public in order to get that money to do what's best for the company at the time. So yes, he did spend more than $700 million, right? At the time, in order to do what? To create value over the future, right? So eventually, we're going to go back to more and more increasing in the shareholder equity pile, right? It seems like every single fourth quarter, right here, if you look at it's like third quarter usually is the lowest, right? Shareholder equity. So if you kind of extrapolate that, at this point, it might be, 1.4, hopefully, for the next fourth quarter. That's, again, it's a lot of hopefullys, I get it. But just knowing that, last quarter we were able to kind of swing close to $100 million, that's pretty substantial, right? And knowing now that the fourth quarter is going to be on inflationary number, right? We could charge more or whatever for the items based on the inflation. And then also too, the fourth quarter is going to be the best quarter for GameStop in general because they, make most of their money from fourth quarter. And we see this as an evident, if you look at the quarterly. See, this is fourth quarter right here, $2.2 billion, right? So if we come close to that, anywhere close to that, if you look at this is just my estimate here. Like, again, the expenses is this much because I did an average. So even if we could achieve that much, we would come out, pretty, hold on, let me see. Did I do the net here? Oh, right here. So even with this right here, my prediction is that they might be able to come out with this like close to $100 million or $98 million. That is pretty, like lowball estimate here that I'm not an expert on this. I'm just like doing this for fun, honestly. But if it hits that number, I'm like, ooh, I got something. I'm kidding. All right, you guys. I'm trying to go through the chat here. Again, I appreciate all of you sitting through this. Xbit, thank you for posting my live stream. Appreciate that. Set up himself is right. Everyone else, not so much, not sure. Let him go back to AMC. Okay, don't know what you're talking about there, Lionel. Appreciate that. Ryan Cohen's weaseled his way into board of director, then had board elected him to be the CEO while retaining his board seat. He copied Adam Aaron, double power. Okay, well, whatever. At least he has a good shareholder equity for that, and less debt than Adam Aaron's. Like, Adam Aaron's, really? You try to compare Ryan Cohen with Adam Aaron? Are you crazy? It's like Adam Aaron could never dream of what Ryan Cohen could ever done. It's like, don't even try to compare to that. Okay, $1 cash on hand. Where did the $500 million go? It goes towards building the infrastructure of GameStop that is going to be great. It's like, what? It's like, it's okay. $500 million? They have $1.1 billion to burn. That's the cash that they have to burn. That's okay. But, I mean, what are they achieving? What have they achieved so far? I mean, you're complaining about a $500 billion loss? Where? From shareholder equity? I mean, shareholder equity is there for the company to expand. So, what? How did they even get that 1 point? Because of the share that they sold earlier, when they're smarter than, to dilute to the oblivion over here. Not from operation. Wait, how many of those shares did Ryan Cohen purchase? A lot. I mean, he owned quite a bit. I don't know, do your own research. You might be able to come up with... No wonder, people are just not care about this company because they don't do their own research. What's his average? I don't know. Haters always around. It's amazing, true. These are basic questions. That's fine. I mean, that's a good question. I appreciate that question. That $500 million, again, like they're setting up infrastructure. Okay. And they will make it back. Again, like that's what business is. Like there's a cycle in the business, right? You have good years and bad years, and hopefully you have more good years than the bad years, right? And then you're setting up, you prepare for the worst and hope for the best type of thing, which is what the leadership is doing. Currently it's not a good thing to expand, so therefore they don't expand for 3 years, and people were like up in arms about that. Oh, why don't they use that billions of dollars that they have? They can't just sit on that cash. They should be spending on this and this and this. Like, why? It's like, you're talking about Adam Aaron. Think about what Adam Aaron used, that $2 billion that he was able to raise back in the olden day, of that run. He was able to raise $2 billion. What did he use? What did he do right away with that $2 billion? So you have to ask yourself that question. And you want to compare Ryan Cohen as a leadership, board of director or whatever, now CEO, you better compare the right thing here. In my opinion, Ryan Cohen is doing better, way better than Adam Aaron could ever dream of. Smarter too. So Ryan Cohen and flute, I don't know what that means. Papa Cohen and Mr. Adams are taken as to, I don't know what that is. No, I wouldn't compare AMC to that. How many shares did you buy over 300? Okay. You being upset at someone getting money. None. No, Adam Aaron is a snake. LC, I don't know what that is. PP show. Okay. Everyone should get money, but 99% everyone won't. Okay. Wrong, everyone should get money. Okay, 99% won't. I don't know what you guys are talking about there. Man, 99% is tough. 99. Okay. Everyone has that one friend that wish they didn't. That's why we have you. I don't know what that is. Oh, that one. I think they're referring to. Okay, they're conversating. I only say don't be deluded into thinking Ryan Cohen is your friend and benefactor. Okay, that's fine. But we could deduct from the... I think, people are smart enough to come to their own conclusion if they learn how to read the balance sheets. In my opinion, I'm not the expert on it, but I feel like every metric that I learned from, online and all that stuff, it shows me differently from what the news media is telling you to do. And if you're seeing these numbers and still think that this somehow is not remarkable, I don't know what is remarkable for people nowadays. This is a successful turnaround company here. And to say that a $500 million price swing on the net income is nothing. That's what I'm baffling about. And the fact that he cut to the point where he was profitable, $100 million profitable. Okay, and this is a trailing 12. If you want to do a quarterly, if you want to compare it that way, if that data point makes more sense to you, okay, go ahead, do that data point. Now, if you want to do an end of year here, just annually, straight up, first quarter to fourth quarter end, okay, there you go. There's that data point as well. So if you were to compare it that way, then it's $50 million price swing right here, while the annual here. But again, you don't get to see 2023 until the next earnings report. So that's why a trailing 12 is more current. It's more, comprehensive, right? That's why, I like to use it, and I learned that from Marantz, right? And there you go. So again, that's why, coming out from having your own conclusion on things, and I'm not saying that Ryan Cohen is here to save humanity here, okay? Of course, he's here to, increase his own wealth, in his own legacy, but from the time I'm looking into I'm following his, goodness, I can't even think of the word. His action throughout, I'm seeing good things, right? In my opinion, right? But you might see it in a different way. You might see that Ryan Cohen is a failure and all that stuff. That's on you, right? I'm sure people at 10 years ago think that Elon Musk was a failure. You know, Elon Musk, you know, chew more than he could bite or whatever. Bite more than he could chew, sorry. But anyway. Alright, you guys, I think I gotta go. I have a phone call that I have to make in a minute, and I'm kind of like tired. It's been 2 hours already. This is the most people that have been in my chat. I appreciate all of you. I'm not gonna go through all the comments here, but man, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm a slow reader. I appreciate all of you commenting though. I know you're asking me win drop or whatever. It's like I don't have the time to address it yet, but I might make a video on this comment right here. But alright guys, that's all I have. Appreciate all of you sitting through all of that pain and agony. But yes, so I'll see you next time. Okay.